Look, if you falling behind on your bills and you having car troubles and you just feel that nobody can help you, I'm gonna show you over 10 different places where you possibly can get an emergency loan even with bad credit. All right, now here's the thing about it. The first lender is Ace Cash Express. Now please understand, with Ace Cash Express, they're not in all 50 states. So as you can see here, the type of loans that they offer, they go from 100 up to 1500 online, and then it goes from 100 up to, I guess, 750. Looking at this here, they're not going to do a hard pull on your credit, okay? So if you just check, if you're in one of those states, if you check, it's not going to have an impact on your credit score. They're going to use one of the third-party credit bureaus, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. Now, your next lender is Explore Credit. Now, Explore Credit is a tribal lender. All right, and so with tribal lenders, they have a lot more flexibility in terms of loaning capital and stuff. And with Explore Credit, they loan up to $2,000. And like I said, they'll tell you what state you can select. So the ones that you see this turquoise here, when you go to the website, I'll put a link below, but when you see this turquoise here, those are the ones that they actually offer loans in. The ones that don't have the turquoise, they do not offer loans in those states, all right? But they offer emergency loans up to $2,000. If you're in the state of Florida, here's a lender for you. This lender is Community Credit Union, all right? Now, that doesn't mean that nobody else can join them, but if you are in the state of Florida, you'll have a higher chance, okay? Because they don't look at the credit, all right? So they offer two types of loan. They offer their quick cash loan, as you can see here, goes from 200 up to 2,000. Then they offer their payday plus loan, which goes from 1,000 up to 2,500, all right? Now, the thing about it, yes, you do have to be a member of it, but the good part about it is that with this here type of lender, credit union, they have more flexibility. So if you're a member for at least 90 days, they're willing to work with you, all right? So that's one. Now, UniFi, here's another thing. UniFi, they offer a short-term loan as well. Now, as you can see here, like I said, these are emergency loans. So with these short-term emergency loans, goes from 200 up to 1,000. All right, and they actually utilize it as a credit builder loan, but it's a credit builder loan that actually will give you the money. There are all these places like Kickoff, Self, and stuff like that. They're credit builder loans, but they actually utilize your money. This here bank, UniFi, and yes, anyone can join UniFi Federal Credit Union. All right, so yes, anyone can join them. They loan up to from 200 up to $1,000. The next lender we're going to talk about is Buffalo Lake Lending. They offer emergency loans, and as you can see here, their emergency loans go from 200 up to 2,000, okay? And where people are worried about their credit, they're not focused on the credit. Long as you meet the minimum criteria, you know, having income. You don't even have to have a job, just welfare, food stamps. They are willing to work with you to help you get qualified for a loan. Now, please understand, with these here type of lenders, these are tribal lenders. The interest rates definitely is going to be high, but at the same time, they're not focused on the credit. As a matter of fact, I want to show you all what I mean when I said that they look at the third-party credit bureaus. So what they're looking at is like Clarity, which is owned by Experian, Factor Trust, which is owned by TransUnion, DataX, which is owned by Equifax. Those are the third-party credit bureaus that they look at. And the reason they look at these to see if you've taken out a loan in the past, as well as if you possibly in a bankruptcy. So that's the reason that they look at these lenders, okay? Another emergency loan place that you can go is through Indyland. Now, Indyland is a platform, and as you can see here, their loans go from 200 up to 5,000. Okay, so they give you a little more money. The thing about it is, in terms of worrying about the credit, you don't have to worry about the credit with these guys as well. Okay, so they're not pulling on the credit. Now, here's something that I would tell you guys: make sure that you have income coming into an active bank account. Make sure that you have an active email. Make sure you have an active phone. Now, for those of you that are working a regular job, then definitely keep in mind, if you can avoid these high interest loans, then what I would do, I would go to the HR department and request to file exempt for 3 to 4 months. That way they won't take out any federal and state taxes out of your check, and you'll bring home a bigger check, and maybe that'll help you get caught up. So that way you don't have to deal with these emergency loans. But hey, if you need money in 24 hours in the next 24 hours, then hey, you got to do what you got to do. But I'm just letting you know, these are high interest rates loans. Another lender that offers emergency loans is Lenyouo. Okay, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Now, here's the thing about it in reference to their qualification: receiving regular income. Again, like I said, you can be on welfare, you can be on disability. They're willing to work with you. The only people that they do not work with, if you're active serving in the military, okay, or dependent. So that's the only thing. But you definitely, if you have an active checking account, some people ask about like prepaid cards and stuff. A lot of these lenders, they don't want to work with people that just have a prepaid card. They want to work with people that have actual bank accounts, okay? And so a lot of your credit unions, if you're in check systems or early warning systems, they have second chance bank accounts to work with you, all right? Now, one of the things that people ask, will I be disqualified if I have bad credit? Again, Lenyouo helps borrow with good, bad, or no credit, okay? So that's the thing about it. You don't have to worry about it. The maximum amount that they actually loan for an emergency is up to $2,000 first time, and then clients can borrow up to $2,500 the second time around, okay? So those are options. Now, again, being that this here is a tribal lender, it states in terms of who they do not offer loans to. So if you're in one of these here states, you will not qualify with this here lender, okay? But just keep in mind, like, you're not going to get a hard pull on your credit. So don't worry about the credit. As long as you have verifiable income coming in, that's what they're looking at. All right. Now, another lender is Rise Credit, and we talk about Rise Credit a lot because they go from 500 up to 5,000. In reference to the states that Rise Credit operate in, these are the states. So if you're not on this here list, then they do not offer you a loan in your state, okay? So these are all the states that they actually offer a loan to. So for those of you that may have a car with equity in it, then you may want to take a look at Yendo, okay? Because they loan up to $10,000 if you have equity in your car, okay? So that's one. And again, it's not about the credit, okay? It's not about the credit, it's about the equity. Now, in terms of how they operate, what it is that they do is you would take a snapshot of your title, you would send that over, they would see what the actual value is and stuff, and then they would determine how much they're willing to loan you. But it has nothing to do with your credit, okay? All right. And then say that you may have something to pawn or whatever, watch, heirloom or something, you don't want to go to a pawn shop, then you have an online pawn shop, you have an online pawn shop as well, okay? So if you don't want to leave your home or you feel too embarrassed and stuff like that, there's an online pawn shop that actually will work with you so you can pawn your valuables and things of that nature. Unfortunately, but again, like I said, if you work a job, please go to your HR and ask them about exempt. All right. Now, if again going back to the car situation, Best Egg. Now with Best Egg, again, they offer car title loans, and as you can see here, they explain the value of the car, how they estimate the value. So if your car is worth $25,000 and you owe $10,000, then you have $15,000 in equity. Okay, so they explain it, and again, you can automatically apply for this without getting a hard pull on your credit. And the good part about it, like I said, this here is one of those lenders. They're not trying to ding your credit, do a hard pull on your credit. But a good thing about Best Ed is that they also offer like the personal loans as well. And so in terms of like their personal loans, say that you have a debt to income ratio over 70%, they will still work with you. All right, so usually like if you have a bad credit score, they say they work with people with a 580 credit score for a regular personal loan as well. So if you're in a rut and you're trying to get some funding, then Best Egg may be an option for you. If you're an independent contractor, then you want to check out Fundo. Okay, now only thing about Fundo, as I tell many people, Fundo does not operate in New York and California, but all the other states they do service. And you can see here they offer up to $10,000. So if you're an independent contractor, and what I mean by that, if you're a freelancer, small business owner, contractor, seller, and franchisees, then they are willing to offer you a loan. Okay, now in terms of the criteria for those loans, you can see here it's you have to check, you have to connect your bank account with Plaid and Decision Logic. The minimum average income is only $1,500. All right, and then the time in business is only 90 days. Okay, so they don't look at a whole lot of criteria, and it has nothing to do with the credit. Do you qualify? Again, it explains to you, yes, you can qualify. So they're very detailed in terms of who will qualify for this type of loan. All right, and like I said, if you're in California, New York, they can't help you. All right, that's just the reality of it. Okay, what if I have bad credit? As long as you don't have an open bankruptcy. So remember I told you guys that those third-party credit bureaus like Clarity, DataX, Factor Trust, they will check systems like that, or they may check LexisNexis to see if you are in a current bankruptcy. But if you have a closed bankruptcy, they'll work with you. But if you're in an open bankruptcy, they can't help you. All right, so just keep that in mind. And then you have another lender. This is Lindsaya. Now, Lindsaya is a platform. So in terms of, they offer freelancer cash advances as well, and they go all the way up to $20,000, right? And for 18 months, you get the money less than 24 hours. And in terms of the basic criterias for this here loan, they want you to have an annual revenue of about $25,000. So that's less than about $1,250 a month, right? So they're not expecting much. 550 credit score and at least over 3 months in business, all right? Having deposits and stuff. Do you have to have a regular business checking account? No. You don't have to have a regular business checking account, but you do have to show proof that as you work in the gig economy, you do have revenue coming in. And like I continue to tell you guys, is that when you don't structure your business, then you leave a lot of money on the table. And the reason you leave a lot of money on the table, because there are lenders out here that will give you funding for your business, even if you have horrible credit. So that's not the problem. Your credit isn't the problem. The problem you may have is just being able to prove that, hey, I am a legitimate business, okay? So that may be your challenge, all right? So for those of you that may have questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description, schedule a one-on-one consultation.